So she bites back, folks. Oh, yes, she does. Rebecca loses having her say today. I noticed in the newspapers. I haven't read it, but I have seen some of the headlines. Now, the Beckhams, they can't have a pop at it. They can't have a go at it. They've put it out there for everybody to see with the Netflix documentary. Victoria's had to say. David probably not quite as much so. I think it all comes in part 4. I've still not seen part 4 yet. But I do know Victoria brought the episode up, but I think they skirt over it and they go along the lines of it never really happened. I think that's basically what they're trying to say. Although I think all the world and its dog knows that it probably did. Well, probably more than probably. I think it did. Anyways, yes, so Rebecca's in the paper today, and I've only seen the headlines, but I think she's very upset with them bringing it back into the public domain 20 years after it happened. I think she took the line. I read something a couple of weeks ago when we heard it was going to be all over the Netflix documentary. Somebody had asked Rebecca for her opinion, and she said, look, it happened, it probably shouldn't have done, but at the end of the day, David was married, he was my boss, he pursued me, and I gave in. Shouldn't have done it, but did, but he was the one that was from the married position. So for all I feel guilty, he should feel more so, and I just wish they'd have not brought it up. Anyways, I believe she's leading a decent life there with a new beau, a new husband and a couple of kids. But the law of the extra candy, the papers, whoever bids the most is going to get her, aren't they? And I think it's the Mail that probably bid a good few quid. And she's told her side again today. Anyway, a couple of things I noticed. She's saying, she said, really upset. She said, I thought we were great and we're really getting on. And for all I know it's wrong, I thought things were great. She said, but one of the first things that put me off him was, she said, he always said to me, when he tapped me up, when he propositioned me, he'd never done this before, it was a one-off, and I thought like the world did, he was a good, clean, wholesome young boy. It was only further down the line, she said, as our texts were getting saucier and saucier at the times we weren't together, I found out that he was sharing the text with his pals and they were all having a good laugh behind me back. She said, I really didn't expect that of him. That wasn't the David Beckham I knew and fell for. And then she tells the story of once when Victoria's in, I think in the UK, or could have been the USA. She's over there in Madrid with Beckham. They're at to do, I think she said, at footballer Ronaldo's, the Brazilian Ronaldo's villa or house, whatever it may have been. And she said, I did notice David went missing on me for an hour or two, and I found him in the back garden talking to a very, very lovely looking Spanish model. She said, well, I felt a bit nose put out, if you like. She said, but wasn't in a position to say anything or do anything about it, because as far as I was aware, our affair was pretty clandestine. Nobody knew about it. She said, although they probably all did. She said, anyway, an hour or two later, gets a call off Victoria. She's beside herself because she's constantly ringing David. David's not picking up. She wants me to go and find him. And I think, well, I know where he's going to be. I go look in the garden. He's not there. I check the house out. She had an outside one of the bedrooms is David's two minders. And I thought, well, he can only be in there. And I also thought, well, I can't see him being in there on his own. Why would you need minders at the door? Anyway, I spoke to one of the minders, said, I've got Victoria on the phone now. She wants David. With that, he goes inside the room, brings David out, but the door's ajar. And I see the model there in the bed. So he's been having a bit of how's your father behind Rebecca's back. Who's having it behind Victoria's back? So anyway, he's obviously not the clean, green, wholesome fella that we've all been led to believe, is he? And she's upset by this, by the whole scenario, Rebecca. And obviously she's brought this out there just to give people a flavour of maybe what really went on and what David was really like. As I say, totally different from the way they're trying to portray him in the Netflix thing. Having said that, I said I wouldn't be in a rush to watch the Netflix thing. I have said I've watched 3 episodes already and I found it to be pretty good. Better than I expected, I suppose. But yeah, Rebecca's not happy. And they've had their little say, and she's having an even bigger one. So that's where we are at the moment, folks. As I say, I've not read it yet. No doubt when I do, there'll probably be more. But it is 20-year-old hearsay when all's said and done. But I'm saying it all the same.